Hi, this is Steve Rybrook from LedgeView Partners, and this is a quick overview of our CRM that we designed for lubricant marketers. It's powered by Microsoft Dynamics 365. Just want to make sure we're clear that this is just an overview of a few of the features. There is a more in-depth view of the system on another video. So let's jump right into a quick overview of LedgeView Partners. We are a business and technology consulting company, and we partner with organizations to help transform their sales, marketing, customer service operations, and processes. And we do that with supported core technologies that include customer relationship management, CRM, and marketing automation. So for this short video, we're going to be focusing on the CRM that we developed for the oil and gas industry. So just a quick agenda so we know what we're going to cover here. We're really going to talk about this concept of data integration and really how to turn your data into information. And to do that, we're going to do some demonstrations on accounts, which is like your customers, and on your pipeline data, your opportunities. And we'll also touch on just one other feature, which seems to be pretty popular with our existing customers, and that is equipment tracking. So let's actually flip right over into CRM and take a look at this. So first thing I want to do is just show a quick global search. It's kind of a nice feature. It doesn't matter what I'm doing in CRM. I can just hit this global search button and search for whatever I want. I'm going to try to find this account where I think there's some fairly good test data in here that I can show you. This is my demo world. So here's an account that we have in CRM, and you'll notice a lot of locks next to some of the data. And that's because there's an account number filled in. So that means that this account is really tied to your back office or your accounting system. We're big believers in one version of the truth. So if, let's say, the PO box here is wrong on this address, and you know that that's wrong, I don't want you to just fix it here, and now this is different than your accounting system. We'd rather have you fix it at the source, so get it fixed in your accounting system, and then every night we make sure whatever's in your accounting system matches or gets pushed over to CRM. So then basically fix it in your accounting system, and the next day that would be accurate then here in CRM. Okay, so as I scroll down a little bit, besides basic name and address information, there's an optional section right here on the account screen. That's really any dollar amount that you might think would be of value to put in front of your CRM users. So in this case, looks like we care about how much the customer owes us, how much is past due. Here's like the last time they paid us, how much they paid us. These are all configurable and optional, however you want to do it. All right, if I scroll up just a little bit, actually I'm going to just jump down to this rolling 12-month summary next. So because we're tied into your accounting system, we have access to your invoice data. And we do that at the transaction level. So basically think of it as every line item on an invoice. And because we have that, we're able to summarize that for you. So what we've done here is we're looking back at the most recent 12 months, and we're just listing one line for every product they purchased over the last 12 months, and then how much they purchased. And it's showing me the product they bought the most of down to the product they bought the least of. We also include things like revenue, gross profit, and then the date is this is the last time they actually ordered that specific product. All right, so that's more of a summary. Again, I did mention that we do have the detail. So real quickly, just a click away, I can look at that order history data, and I'll just highlight one here to maybe make it a little bit easier to read. So what is this showing me? This is just showing me the date, basically the invoice number, the product they purchased, how much they paid, what our cost was, how many they bought, how much revenue it produced, and then how much gross profit that produced. So this is just a list of the most current transaction going backwards in time. So this screen answers a lot of questions like, when's the last time somebody bought this product? How much did they pay? How much did they buy? Those types of things. So it's once we have this detailed data, I mean, all the rest is easy. So all that summary data and some other charts and analytics that I'll show you in a minute. All right, so some folks are a little bit more graphical. I've been showing you some raw data here, so I'll just jump and show you one chart where you can take that data and analyze either gross profit, revenue, or units or volume. And what this is doing is just comparing how this customer is doing so far this fiscal year compared to the same time period last fiscal year. And then we also look at the most recent 12 months versus the prior 12 months. So just a couple different comparisons there. And then we also break down those numbers by what we call product segment. So how you group your products. All of this is configurable. This is how you group your products, not how we have it set up in this demo world. Okay, taking this to a little bit higher level, let's think more of maybe from a company perspective. How can we turn your data into information? I'm just going to pull up a dashboard where we're kind of analyzing your company, and we really call this your corporate scorecard. And what this is going to do, this is going to analyze how your company is doing, actual numbers, and you can analyze gross profit or volume units. And then if you set goals, you get these circles on here that show your quarterly goals. So here's how you're doing from a company perspective based on gross profit. And if I click on this, it breaks it down by department. Again, this is very configurable. However you set up your system, we work with you on doing that. And then I'll just drill into lubricants. I can drill into lubricants and how am I doing by what we call product category. And it looks like we're just doing that by brand here. So how are each of my brands doing? And then I can drill into that. And now we've got that product segment breakdown. And I could drill into that. And ultimately we get down to, okay, which salespeople helped us grow our lubricant Chevron grease business? And I could go one step further here. This actually is going to show me, I think I clicked on Steve, yeah. So this is showing me all of the customers or accounts that helped contribute to Steve doing well on his lubricant Chevron grease gross profit, showing his best customer down to his worst customer. So that's that. Let's jump over to opportunities for a minute. So I'm going to go back to sales and go back to opportunities. And this is just my open opportunities, just a list of everything that I'm working on, all that business that I'm going after. I could open up one of these opportunities here. I'll just grab any one here just to show you just a little bit about a couple of the fields on here. We've got a nice sales process where you basically just move this opportunity through the sales process as you're moving along in the process. You code it to a department. You can code it to a brand if you want. There's a description field as I can keep track of who I'm competing with. As I scroll down, how big of an opportunity is this? Thinking of revenue, gross profit, and volume, I can put in a status comment. And a real important thing is this estimated close date, because our system does do some prorating based on your fiscal year, and I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so that's one opportunity. Let's jump in to say how we can take all of that data, all of your pipeline data across your organization and help you manage that. So I think the last I counted, we had about a dozen dashboards specific to opportunities or pipeline data. And I think there's like over 50 charts. So let's just grab one here. This kind of seems to be a nice one where we're kind of analyzing our pipeline and we're seeing, hey, how can I use this information to help me figure out how I'm doing compared to my goal? Maybe there's some information on here that might be of value to you. So here's what people mostly think of when they think of their pipeline, right? How much, in this case, gross profit do I have in each stage of the sales process? Over here, what we're doing is we're looking at all of those opportunities that you plan on closing this year, and we're showing you how much how much gross profit you have in the pipeline, and then of that, how much is prorated, and then obviously how many opportunities that is. And then over here, we just kind of look back at the last 24 months, and we're showing how many you've lost, how many of you won, and then how many are still open. So if you're trying to figure out, how am I doing compared to my goal? Boy, this kind of tells you a lot, right? I've got $63,000 in my pipeline that I'm thinking I'm going to close by the end of the year. But wait a minute, I only win about 36% of my opportunities. So maybe this 63,000 is high, right? It's probably only going to be about 20 or 25,000 based on the data. All right, the other thing I promised that I'd let you know is you can interact with this data. So let's say you had some questions, let's say on this chart over here. You can just click this little button, and what it does is it puts the data next to the chart. So now I've got all of this data that was used to make up this chart. And if I cared about this 54,000 that's sitting here in sales stage 4, I can click on that, and it just narrows down the list to the 13 opportunities that are in sales stage 4. If that's still too much to analyze, I can just make a chart of that data. Just a couple of clicks away, maybe I want to see who has those opportunities. So now I get a chart that's showing me by salesperson, or what we call owner, showing the gross profit of all the open opportunities that are in sales stage 4. So I could, let's say, click on Taylor here. He's got $20,000 in there. Now I look at the opportunity that he has. So just a nice way to not only use the charts, which are great, but usually they trigger a question so you can interact with the data. All right, last thing I want to cover is equipment tracking. So just real quick on equipment tracking, we have your accounts, you enter your equipment, and then real quick, I'll just highlight one here. Basically, what you do is you tie a piece of equipment, in this case a tank, to a customer or an account, and I pretty much just say, hey, when did they get it? And then if I ever take it back, I could fill in an end date. So in this case, this customer still has that tank. And optionally, if it is a tank, I can document which product they promised to put in that tank. And if they kind of made a commitment as to how many they thought they'd buy each year, you can document that as well. And then because we have access to all your data, we can easily tell you who's meeting or not meeting their commitments. That's just one feature of this equipment tracking. All right, so I think that's it. There is lots and lots and lots more, lots of other videos you could watch, and another long one that kind of goes through just about every feature in the system. So with that, I'm just going to kind of jump back over to the PowerPoint and wrap up by introducing you to Jean. She's our account manager for our oil and gas CRM. Here's her phone number and email address. So if you want to take a deeper dive, if you have any questions, Jean would be glad to talk to you. So please reach out to Jean if you're interested. Thanks very much for listening. Have a great day.